Good morning, guys. Hope you've had a good weekend, and hopefully you're going to have a good week this week. I've got two more assignments that are getting us ready for May the 19th, which is going to be the AP Music Theory exam. I just put an announcement up. The announcement will be right here. It is another part writing activity under the activity tabs, assignments. Okay, and I've got the link there on the announcement. So the part writing is due this May the 1st. It's real similar to what last week. This is just what you're going to have to do on the exam. The other one is the singing, and this is on pages and then daily free response. And really what I'm trying to get you to do here is to get these melodies into note flight as quickly as you can so that you can hear what the melody sounds like before you have to sing it. Okay? Even if you played it on an instrument, if you played it on a piano or something, you may play it wrong, And so if you can get the melody into note flight, if it only takes you a minute to put the melody in, then you can listen to it 2 or 3 times and then sing it while you're recording it. So hopefully you can get pretty proficient on note flight, get these melodies into the computer so the computer will play them exactly the way they're supposed to sound. And then you can use that as a practice aid. You have 15 minutes to record and upload your singing melody for the exam. You'll have 30 minutes for the part writing. Okay. So, and then you'll just take a picture of that and upload it. Once again, be sure when you're taking the picture, make sure that you hold your camera like this and not like this. Okay. This is the best way to do that. Take it, and when you upload it for me anyway, I can grade it for you. I can mark it up if you upload the PDF on the activities assignments page. I did go back and grade last week's, the ones that were submitted, and so go back through. I tried to write you little notes if you had any large problems. Most of the problems had to do with maybe forgetting to raise the leading tone, or in that minor key. It was in B minor. Several of you had some augmented seconds. Remember, you can't go from lay until T. So you had several augmented seconds. That also had a deceptive cadence at the end of it. And remember, you're supposed to double the third in the 6th chord for a 5/6, a deceptive cadence. That way you won't have parallel octaves and parallel fifths and that kind of thing. Overall, common tone step, contrary motion nearest for all of the part writing. Okay, the rest of this video, you can watch it if you want. I did a review of the figures in figured bass and how to figure out what the chord tones are. Remember, when you misspell a chord, it's like really, really bad. It's lots of points off. So I did a quick, about a 5-minute video review of figured bass. And then if you go to the very end of the video, I actually went through grading how a reader would grade the part writing on just a student submission from last week. So be sure and at least go through and look at the markups that I put on your part writing and kind of work through that. All of your grades are pass fail for the rest of the year, but I really think it'll make a big difference if you continue to keep part writing at the forefront and keep singing. Okay, good luck. Message me if you have any questions. Thanks. Okay, I wanted to do a quick review with you of figured bass and how to figure out these chords and make sure that you're spelling them correctly. The figured bass comes from way back when in the fall when we talked about inversions of chords. Okay, and so bass position symbols like a 5/6/4 or a 1/6 or something like that, or a 5/4/2 is closely related to a figured bass. Figured bass are literally just mean intervals above the bass. Okay, so you'll have a bass line, and then you'll have some numbers under the bass line, and the numbers will refer to what chord tones happen in the intervals above that bass line. Okay, and so if you remember, triads have a root, a third, and a fifth. Okay, and 7th chords have a root, third, fifth, and a 7th. Okay, so if this is a C, E, G, and then this would be a C, E, G, B chord. Okay. Now, if we put it in first inversion, that means we have an E in the bass, and then we have a C and a G somewhere up here. Okay. So E to G is a third. E to C is a sixth. So that would be a 6/3. And remember that in the shorthand of figured bass, we just forget the 3. So you just have a 6. Okay. Now, so that's the third that's in the bass. If we put the fifth in the bass, we would have a G and then a C and an E. Okay. So G, A, B, C would be a 4. G, A, B, C, D, E would be a 6. And so that's why that's a 6/4 chord. Okay. Now the same thing works for seventh chords. Okay. So a root, third, fifth, and a seventh, C, E, G, B. That would mean a 7, a 5, and a 3. But we just, for shorthand for figured bass, we would just do a 7. Okay. If we put the third in the bass, we would have a first inversion seventh chord. So E, G, B, C. So that would be a third, a fifth, and then a sixth. Okay. So a 6, a 5, and a 3. But for figured bass, we drop the 3 and we just do a 6/5. Okay. So that's the root third. If we put the G in the bass, which would be the fifth, G, B, C, E. G, A, B would be a third. G, A, B, C would be a fourth. And G, A, B, C, D, E would be a 6. So that would be a 6, a 4, and a 3. Okay. Now we already have a 6/4 over here. So in this case, we drop the 6 for the full figured bass, or for the figured bass. Okay. So we got root, third, fifth. If we put the seventh in the bass, B, C, E, G. Okay. We would have a second. B to C is a second. B to E, B, C, D, E is a 4. And B, C, D, E, F, G is a 6, which would be a 6/4/2. And once again, we just drop the 6 and we just have a 4/2. So this 6, 6/4, 7, 6/5, 4/3, 4/2 is that phone number that I showed you. Okay. Now, so when you're looking at a figured bass, this is last week's example. Okay. You got to make sure you stay within the key. Okay. Remember, the sharp refers to the third. So this is an F. Okay, so this chord would be an F sharp because of your key, A, and it's got to be A sharp because F, G, A, that's the third, and then C, and it's C sharp because of your key. Okay, now this is a 6/5. 6/5 means that the third is in the bass. So this is an E. Okay, so we can go down and find the root, which would be a C sharp, E, G, G, B. And since it's a 6/5, then that means it has to have a seventh on it. C sharp, E, G, not G sharp, just regular G because of the key signature. And so this is that 2 half diminished 6/5 chord. Okay. Now, so the notes that go outside of this key signature are indicated with sharps or with slashes. Sometimes it could be a plus. Sometimes it actually could be a flat 3 or something like that. All these mean are intervals above the bass. Several of you missed this chord last week. Okay, so this is a 4/2 and an E in the bass. So we have an E. Now, if we just did the intervals above the bass, and if we remembered that, we really have a 6 here too, 6/4/2, well, E, F sharp would be the 2, E, F, G, A. Okay. And then look, the A has a slash through it. That means we have to sharp it. Okay, so A sharp. Okay, and then E, F, G, A, B, C, a 6. That would be C sharp because of your key. So E, F sharp, A sharp, C sharp. If we unscramble this and put it back into our chord wheel, then we find that that's an F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, E chord, with the E being in the bass. Okay, so that's really figured bass. Now, you may see this crop up as a suspension. If you see something like a 4 dash sharp, really the sharp would mean the 3. So that would be a 4-3 suspension. So remember, somewhere over here you have to have a preparation. And then this 4 above whatever the note is going to be the suspended note. And it's going to resolve to the 3, 4-3. Okay. You might see something like 8-7. Okay. So 8-7 means this is an octave and it resolves to the 7th of the next chord. Okay. Remember, we did several examples back when we were in school where you had 8-6-4 moving to a 7-5-3. And so that means this is a 6-4 chord. Let's say this is a G, G, and then the 1 chord would be C. If this was what the bass was, okay? So a 4th above G, G, A, B, C would be C, a 6th, G, A, B, C, D, E, and then an octave would be G. So that's a C, E, G chord. It's a cadential 6-4, right? And then so wherever this G is, it's got to go in this chord to the 7th. So G, A, B, C, D, G, B, D, F. So the G would go to the F. The E would go to the 5th, right? So that goes down to the 5th, G, B, D. So E would go down to D. And then the C, the 4 would go to the 3. So G, A, B. So all of those would kind of go down like that, and they go down by step. We did a couple of examples like that, okay? That's a quick review for figured bass. So hopefully that'll help you. Okay, so I thought I would show you a little bit about how a reader would actually grade this stuff. So the first thing they would do is ask. Then this first figured bass is a 25-point problem. So you get 1 point for Roman numeral, 1 point for spelling each chord correctly, and then 2 points for the voice leading into and out of the chord. Okay, so as I grade this, I'm just going to go through and make sure this student spelled the chord right, and then I'm going to be looking at the voice leading as well. Looks like the Roman numerals are okay. You need a half diminished sign right here, but that's okay. Now this Roman numeral is not right. This should be a 6 chord. We'll see if they spelled it correctly here in just a second. So that's 1 point off for Roman numerals. I don't think they'd take a point off for the half diminished. Okay, so this is a 4 chord, E, G, B. That's okay. And then here is the 5-7 chord with the E in the bass. So that's a F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, E. Got the A sharp right, but if you notice, this is from lay to T, okay? And so that's an augmented second. You can't write melodic augmented second, so that'd be 2 points off for the voice leading there, okay? Now this is another 1 chord, so B, D, F, and then another D, okay? And looks like those two are going up, that one's going down, so that's okay. Contrary motion nearest. This is a C, E, G, B, okay? Now, so this is the 7th, right? C, E, G, B. The 7th is in the soprano. And this student leapt down to the 7th, okay? So that would be 2 points off for not approaching the 7th correctly, okay? And then you got your leading tone here, F sharp, A sharp, C sharp. That's good, okay? And then G, B, D, B. And if you notice, this student got the Roman numeral correct, or they got the Roman numeral wrong, but they spelled the chord right. And so you would get all the points up here for the voice leading and spelling the chord right, but you would get 1 point off for the Roman numeral. Notice also that in a 5-6, this student doubled the 3rd in the 6th chord. Everything else goes contrary motion nearest, okay? So if I added all that up, that'd be -4. And out of 25 possible points, that'd be a 21 out of 25. Okay, as for the Roman numeral progression, same way of grading it. Just make sure chords are spelled right. Okay, so 1 to 5, 6, 4. So in the key of A, the 5 chord is E, G, B, and we got the B in the bass. So E, G, B, B. Also notice that all 6/4 chords you need to double the bass, which is good here. Okay, 1, 6. So A, C, E, C. So we've got B, C, B, C. So that's parallel octaves. That's -2 for the voice leading. Okay. Now the 5 chord would be E, G, B, D. The seventh goes down, the leading tone goes up, that's okay, to an A, C, C, E. So that's good. And really, you can't screw up, repeated chords. A, C, E, that's fine. Going to the four chord, B, D, F, A, D. Okay, so we go to octave Ds here, for it to be a direct octave, you have to leap in the soprano. And then A, C, E. Okay, so D to E, A, C, E. Now we do have a spacing error right here. The side-by-side voices, the soprano and the alto, move farther than an octave apart. So that would be a 1 point off there. Okay, so 3 minus 3, and this is a 21-point problem. So that would be, 18 out of 21.